Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of discovering, listening to, and analyzing Pokemon music from an emotional perspective. Today we're going to be listening to 7 tracks from a variety of Pokemon games, some old gen, some new gen. I don't know. I'm just taking it off from your suggestions. If you want more Pokemon, let me know which tracks you want me to listen to. Let's get started. Today we're going to start with Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Tree of Life, Roots. Wow. Yeah, it feels very criminal to stop there. That's gorgeous. In this channel, when we're talking about Pokemon music or any music in general, and there's much of it on the channel for you to check out. There's over about like 1,200 videos. Anyway, seriously. The thing to understand is that we want to look at things not necessarily from a theory perspective, but from a perspective of an emotion. Right off the bat, you can hear we're actually bubbling. And we grow, and then we hit, and then we pivot into a new musical idea, right? But what's really cool is the way that we build the horns in the very beginning of this piece. So we're at 28 seconds. Let's start over and listen to this really quickly. So that's the melody. Ba, 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 ba. Now, maybe that's a leitmotif that plays throughout the game. I'm not sure. But the thing that's really impressive about that is the fact that throughout that entire melody, you feel a sense of possibility, right? A sense of compassion, a sense of like, okay, I'm not sure if I can do this, right? But we continue to drive forward because we have the bubbling in the left hand. There's them. Wow, that's beautiful, dude. Yeah, and so like, you know, the flute thing there is so emotional. Now, using the flute like that, we're exasperated. And we may feel like, man, I don't want to keep going. I don't want to pursue this anymore. I'm tired. But then the flute's like, come on, buddy. Get up. You can't just sit back. And I love this about music, by the way. The most amazing thing about a piece, any piece, no matter how you feel about it, whether it's generic or interesting, exciting, boring, whatever, like every piece has emotion laden within it so that you can use that to move through the gaming experience, or hell, your life experience. Something might not be to our taste, but we can still extrapolate. And so often we get hung up on, bear with me for 10 seconds, we get hung up on like theory and like chord structure. And I think that those things are vitally important to music. Like all of this is built around theory and chords and you know, standard practice music stuff. What we don't talk about nearly enough is why emotionally those things are written the way they are. That's as important, if not truly more important, than the actual compositional process. Now, I'm not saying emotion's more important than theory. Not really, because you need both. Theory is actually the vessel for emotion. But anyway, this is very, very, very deep, and it's moving me a lot, actually. Dude, like, I'm sorry. I really don't want to stop more than 3 times because we have 7 tracks and I don't want the video to be 2 hours necessarily. I know you'd watch it. I appreciate that. But this is the 4th or 5th track from Super Mystery Dungeon I've heard over the span of however many years I've had, the 3 years that I've had this YouTube channel. And I never was aware of Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. This reminds me a lot of Dialga's the Dialga track. It's so emotional. And the thing is, like, what we've been doing is just stacking an emotion over and over and over and over and over. We start off with just the French horn. Then we move to the lighter instrument of the flute. Very, very pulled back. Very, very emotional. Very, very gentle. And now we're an entire like set of orchestra, of like symphonic instruments, right? Orchestra, strings, whatever. And it really like sends home this idea of like, come on, dig deep, believe in yours, like go, you know what I mean? Like push. And I really love that. Like such a straight, narrow line of like tension, but it's not tension like battle. It's tension like, come on, do it. You know what I mean? It's really, really evocative. Nice meter shift there. It feels like. I love the like woody percussiveness. Ja, ja, ja. Wow, to pull back like that, it's bold. Back to the French horn. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, damn. What an ending. Really, really, really awesome track there, isn't it? It's so laden with like possibility. Like there's a palpable feeling of like, how do we do this? The questions that all of us ask. Look, I mean, I've had to start going back to the gym more, and it's like, man, I don't want to. How do I bring myself to go? How do I bring myself to say, yo, it's worth the suffering, right? Like we live that in our day-to-day lives all the damn time. Oh shit, I have to go to work. The feeling there is so real. And even though it takes place in a game where you play as Pokemon and whatever, like the emotionality is so legit and inglorious. It's really, really beautiful. And that ain't no glazing. I really genuinely mean that. That's like a beautiful piece. I would tell you if I didn't like it. And I really enjoyed that. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Chairman Rose battle music. Dude, the crispness in that is insane. So you know what's funny is that there's a sort of slimy seediness about Chairman Rose. He dresses in a suit, right? I'm looking at the picture. He seems like he'd be like a nice guy, but he actually ends up being a giant asshole. Again, I've never played these games. I have no idea if that's right. It doesn't really matter. What matters is like the emotional impetus of it. So for me, it's like he's slimy, he's slippery, he's conniving, he's twisted. And the reason why I say that is that musically there's some rolling, sort of slipping and sliding that we hear in the orchestra section. I find it kind of odd because he's wearing a suit in this picture, but yet we get this like really powerful or choral music attached to it, which is really fascinating because to me it's like, damn, he's like a bad dude. Like he clearly has ill will, but that's obvious, right? The chorus really makes it feel like fighting a god or fighting some sort of unholy being, right? Like that's a classic trope. But the suit, maybe he's like fighting. No, I was gonna make a joke that maybe he's fighting to put on his pants because he's gained too much weight. Yeah, there's definitely some slipperiness in there. Man, that's really high in the upper range. So there's a lot of dissonance in that. And to me, and obviously also the piano is very dissonant as well. So part of me is like, man, is this guy just like really kind of confused? Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what? Huh? The dude like can't seem to grasp who he is anymore. Like he's lost the plot. And so also the dissonance is fascinating because it makes it out to seem really bad. Chorus of the upper register like that, the sopranos are all the way at the top of their register. And he's essentially, it feels like there's like psychosis almost, like a craze. Man, really interesting though. It's like pretty good. Yeah, it's like incredibly disjointed. And in here, it's really like, fine, I'll do it myself. You can't stop me. No one can. Super dissonant, right? Yeah, like right in that corner, but it's just like everything is like lost. Everything's sort of been stripped away. Really, all that's left is mania, the sense of shouting, the sense of, it's almost like shouting something out of you. I gotta do it. You know, like it's just like out of breath, like really backed into a corner and lashing out, but lashing out in a way that's like boom, 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 just throwing everything at you, not knowing where to turn. Boom, 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 boom. You can't stop me. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, bro, like chill. Interesting piece. It actually is quite beautiful. And oddly, I look like Chairman Rose. He has more hair than I do. Let's check out Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Ho Battle. Oh, Ho Battle. Okay, there you go. I really like this little corner. You know, there's quite a bit of measured chaos in that piece, which I find really fun. I wasn't sure where it was going to go at first, but when it starts, Like right there, there's a, I don't want to say godliness. There's a wonder in that sound, right? Listen to the way it starts. Yeah. Like it's just like, whoa. And then it's like, oh shit. Like I'm assuming it's one of these two birds. It like dive bombs. And it's like, whoa. It's here. Oh my God. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like scrambling. Again, there's a scrambling sound in this as well, where it's like, okay, we gotta pick up the pace. Oh, you know what I mean? But you don't go. And it's interesting because it borrows like the taiko, like it feels Japanese. In fact, I'm filming this live and someone in the chat mentioned that it's one of the more Japanese tracks that you could get. It sounds like it's like in reverence of, the reverence is older. It's got like a cultural significance. Like there's like this is like the first time anyone's ever seen, I'm just making this up. It's the first time anyone's ever seen this thing. And so there's fear, even though there's reverence at the same time. That's a trope that we see quite often. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of reality to say that. The other thing that's really interesting is that it's like trepidation, but it's also excitement at the same time. Like it's like, oh man, this is like a bad, so well, this is kind of awesome too. You know what I mean? Like having the mental like split feeling there, even though like this is a bad situation, a dangerous situation. It's also like kind of exciting. I also really appreciate the heft that we hear in the taiko, even though they're like, like MIDI taiko. Yeah, and then also that corner has like a sense of urgency to it, doesn't it, as well? And then here it's cool because we actually double on it. Check this out. So this is interesting. That's the first time. Now listen, double. You know what I mean? So it goes higher up, and then again, the emphasis changes. When we repeat things, we almost always, I've said this multiple times, but I like repeating it. When we repeat things, it's really important because when we repeat things, we are re-emphasizing. And usually upon a repeat, the repeat will be bigger or different and more important than the previous time. When you repeat something, when I'm saying, hey, listen, what am I doing? I'm re-emphasizing the word listen. If I want you to pay attention, I'm going to re-emphasize the second time. Yo, subscribe. The point is that there's a re-emphasis, and the re-emphasis has to be bigger than the one before. In this case, I think it sounds like we go up in pitch, we go higher up, and it sounds like there's a little bit of doubling as well. So there's a re-emphasis to get the point across, which is cool. Right here. Wait, is it identical and I just made that whole statement for no reason? Hold on one second. No. Yeah, no, okay. That was correct. Yeah, that's really dope. And then let me just fast forward a little bit. Oh yeah, this little corner is all about action. I love when the shamisen comes in because the shamisen's like, we gotta move, we gotta go. Pick up. Yeah, and the drums really signify action in that particular case. I also like the slight delay or the as if to say like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's fun because it feels like it's a conversation. Now, I don't know what's actually happening in this particular instance, but it feels like it wants to be resolved, but it doesn't know how to, because in the moment that we're listening to this track, there's chaos, there's unrest, it's a sort of unruly moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, cool track. I like how emphasized it was. I like how it also hits. Like it really goes somewhere. Let's check out Victory Road from Pokemon Black and White. I still really, if there's one Pokemon game I really want to play, it's Black and White. You know, that's so interesting. I did not expect that. I am perplexed. When I thought Victory Road, I thought like bright, peppy, like, I think my brain interpreted victory as happy. So I was expecting like, and instead I got, but it's interesting though, isn't it? Because it's not actually all that optimistic. It's like, it's a celebratory theme, yes, but it also, with the wind blowing as well, there's a quality in the sound of actually like, damn, we trudged through a lot to get here. That's fascinating. It's very slow. It's a pretty decently paced tempo. We're nearing the horizon of this adventure. It feels like maybe this is like the final like map, the final route you take to face the whatever, like if it's like Pokemon Red or what have you, like the final challenge still remains, but we're close. Yeah. On the one hand, it feels pretty like, it does feel victorious. But on the other, it's like, not quite yet. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of like of an edge of danger to it. Right? It doesn't sing song with joy. It sings songs with, okay, all right. See, but that's optimistic. Also, I really like the bells. So it's interesting. The bells kind of come in quite frequently. Why did I go to Terraria when the bell, the Calamity Bell? Anyway, the bells of Notre Dame. What? Where am I? The bells there really, really are the invitation, right? It's like the school bell. But then you also get the horns there, and the horns are actually saying like they're inviting. They're opening up the opportunity to achieve victory. But then where I stopped, it shifts again. It's really interesting. Hold on, let me rewind. Yeah, right there. It's so bum 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 bum. Like that is very playful, very inviting, very celebratory. Not celebratory and like, yeah, good job, but celebratory and like, yeah, all right, here we go. Boom, bum 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 bum. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a nice little journey. little bit of da-da-da, nice sharp rhythm there. Biarato. Yeah, that's a very slow, plotty, emotional sort of movement towards a goal. You know, in a way, it kind of has a pretty mature sound. It doesn't sound like kiddish or like childish. It's very like rooted in like, you got a job to do, man. You're not quite done, which I kind of like. Let's check out Pokemon Coliseum, Pyrite Town. What, snapping? Oh. Walking bass. Blues? Jazz? This is a cool place, man. Oh! Big band swing. Yeah. Yeah, of course. You gotta have the jazz organ. Duetting with the piano. Yeah. Gotta have a saxophone. Walking bass is so much fun, isn't it? That's a very short loop, by the way. That was like a 30-second. Wow, interesting, actually. Hold on. Some unison movement there with the horns, the trumpets with the walking bass. Some sustained. Feels like whispering. It's like, yo, dude, come here. Let me tell you a secret. Have you heard the new, like, you know what I mean? It's like, gets right up in your face. Interestingly enough, it's actually like a very chill track. And it, for me, it's a couple different things. Either it's a track of like the high roller city, where like everyone kind of gambles, you know, everyone's gossiping and spreading rumors, and like there's like a bit of a buzz in the air, but it's not like a city. Well, it's a town. First of all, it's Pyrite Town. I'm picturing like fedoras and like black hats, sunglasses, or it's actually like the entrance. This is where the Coliseum, listen, I don't know anything about it, so I'm just like making it up, but maybe it's like, this is where the Coliseum is. And this is on the outside. And it's like, hey, get your tickets to the Coliseum. You want your tickets to the Coliseum? I want my tickets. Hey, 40, 40, 40. You know what I mean? Like, there's an energy about it that is very much like trying to make a buck, especially with a walking bass that feels very like proactive, not in a bustly way, but in like a I'm just trying to get this thing done. And I think that really sells. It leans into that so well, and it sells it because it really leans into the swing aspect of it. So there is that quality of like, yeah, you want to come over here and find out how to make a little extra cash? I don't know if that's right, but I enjoyed how it kind of was very laid back, very cool, very, very, very relaxed. It's fun for a town theme as well, because there's a natural like slowed energy about it, but it's still busy, but maybe under the surface. You know what I mean? This is Pokemon Legends Arceus Lake Guardians battle theme. I like that hit. A nice build up here. Really, really cool. Really natural. You know, let me get this out of the way first and just say that I was expecting it to go somewhere. It continues the sort of supernatural, otherworldly, alternate dimension type sound, right? That's consistent, and the pace, boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, like that's very cool. And I also really like the way that it twists and crunches and does all that. But what I was hoping for was a natural sort of build to a climax, because it basically bubbled the whole time. Now, bubbling in and of itself is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good piece of music, but it just it doesn't zhuzh, it doesn't punch, it doesn't spice. It just sort of is consistently consistent, which there's something to be said for how positive that can be in terms of a context and in terms of giving a space to music. But it ends up robbing us of a little bit of a bump, a zhuzh, you know what I mean? That being said, these characters pop up in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. So let me just listen to that version. Oh, see, there's no comparison. This is way better. This has way more identity. So that's very interesting to me, because when this is the question about remakes, it's like, should we be remaking things, but then like paring them back? It seems kind of weird. But what I like about this is that we get like some drum and bass right up front. Then we get identifiable instruments. So even though there's a little bit of danger laden, actually there's more danger laden in it because we get the bass. So it's interesting because the other one kind of just bubbles, whereas this one's like, oh no, like, isn't it? So that's the crazy part, is that musical instruments cause different degrees of tension depending on what the instruments are. So here, having a bass movement underneath, like the bass, that actually creates a stronger sense of identity. Even though it moves the same way than the remake version, the bass adds tension. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah, see, in that, that is mysticism, alternate dimension. I don't know, like from a different planet. Like, isn't Mew from a different planet or something? All that being said, that to me has way more identity. That says, hey, we're not from here. We've come here for a very specific purpose, and we have to fight. I also like the twinkling there. This is, again, little ways to create latent tension so that the thing feels a little bit more stressful and there's more sense of urgency throughout it. And that's definitely what's at play here. And that's also nice because the other one tended to end up just sounding kind of the same. It just repeated itself, right? Whereas this one is like, hey, even though we're not using the bass right now, we're still going to have a little bit of tension in the upper register. Like, we're sprinkling moments of tension, of combat, of battle, of sense of determination, of a requirement, of focus. You know what I mean? And that too. And that actually makes it sound like the tempo is increasing, even though it's not. You know what I mean? Like, that makes it feel like the pace is moving faster, even though it actually isn't. And that's chaos. Not even mentioning how the percussion also does a great job of causing a sense of forward momentum and a sense of stress as well. I think regardless of context and stuff, I think hearing remixes or variations on is always really interesting. And ultimately, to tell you the truth, neither one is a piece that I would like sit down with and put on in the car or on Spotify, right? Like those pieces are not the type of pieces that I gravitate to. But when it comes to a battle theme and a sense of urgency, the second one, this original, well, this isn't even original because it's from Omega and Alpha Sapphire, but I might be getting mixed up there. But all that to be said, like that's way more tension laden because of the musical language that's being in play, the instruments used. And I find like that's a really interesting comparison and contrast moment there. And then we're gonna listen to Pokemon Black and White 2 Black Tower. Nice. Ta-dum, ta-dum. Wow. Talk about crazy funky jazz, huh? So, standard jazz chords. Jazz progression there. Some sevenths. Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum. Wow, dude. Nice. It's so interesting because it's like kind of chaotic, isn't it? It's a little bit all over the place. And yet, interestingly enough, like, you know, regardless of the sevenths and the standard jazz chords and all that other stuff, like to my ear, it has a quality of joyful discovery, or I don't know if that's right. And right and wrong also like sort of is irrelevant when it comes to video, like music in general. Like you can kind of, yes, intention and context, that's the context is the correct thing in theory, but like when you're listening to it like we are right now, it's kind of like whatever you feel. And I think that's something that's really important and worth looking at. And it's not just like a cop out to be like, well, I don't need to be right. Well, no, it's not about that. It's about the fact that like you can enjoy music in whatever capacity, in context, out of context, mixing context. You know, yes, it's probably most potent in context, but the joy of music is that you can take it with you. Maybe you haven't played Black and White 2 in like 15 years. Well, you've changed since you've played that. And that music, yes, it's buried and attached to the context, but you can also listen to it out of it, and it can still connect you either to the context originally, or it can connect you to, you know, your childhood or different other feelings, or even maybe people you played this game with, right? And so anyway, in any case, I think that this piece really represents being busy in a scientific lab. This is like a place, Black Tower, I don't know, where we're working on experiments. We're turning, you know, I'm looking at a picture of these Pokemon that are like look like super synthetic and genetically engineered and modified and enhanced with technology. So maybe that's the place where this is being done, right? The music has a certain like, gotta get stuff done vibe to it, mixed in with these really intense dissonant chords, which is like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be genetically modifying Pokemon, possibly, right? And I find it like playful because of its tempo and the way that the piano is moving and also the jazz chords, but also kind of negative at the same time. It's really interesting. It's cool when you hear the chords and the bass kind of move together. Ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. You know what I mean? It's very busy. Bum bum bum, bam 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 bam. I wish it was a little bit more like slowed down slightly. It's very, 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 very agitated. Maybe it is like a place where we're just getting things done. We're in a science lab and clock's on, you know what I mean? Like we got to get stuff, time's a ticking. I don't know. It's really, it's crazy. Well, look, there's more Pokemon on the channel and there will be more to come. I wanted to just pick 7 tracks right now. Definitely drop your suggestions in the comments. We're going to keep this thing going. I'm really having a good time with these. I hope you are too. Thanks a ton and I'll see you later.